السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمد رسول الله. أبو بكر الصديق، عمر الفاروق، عثمان بن الرحيم، علي عبد الدين، خلفاء رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم عدد ما علمت وزينة ما علمت وملء ما علمت. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. رب أعوذ بك من حمزات الشياطين وأعوذ بك رب أن يحضرون. ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من الظالمين. أما بعد. وقال الله تعالى في كتابه العزيز: أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. إن الله عنده علم الساعة وينزل الغيث ويعلم ما في الأرحام, which means surely Allah is the one with whom is the knowledge of the last hour, and He, يعني Allah, is the one who sends down the rain and knows whatever is in the wombs. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also says, فَهَلْ يَنْظُرُونَ إِلَّا السَّاعَةَ أَنْ تَأْتِيَهُمْ بَغْتَةً فَقَدْ جَاءَ أَشْرَاطُهَا فَأَنَّ لَهُمْ إِذَا جَاءَتْهُمْ ذِكْرَاهُمْ. صدق الله العظيم, which means they are waiting for nothing but for the hour of doom, that it should come upon them suddenly. So its signs have already come. Then once it will come upon them, how would they have an opportunity to accept the advice already given to them? So the first ayat we read from Surah Luqman, ayat 34, and the ayat that we just read is from Surah Muhammad, ayat 18. Now let us continue at page 4 in our Kuliah notes. We stopped last week where we have to understand that we must remember that knowing the signs of Qiyamah is not to judge other people, but to reflect or to muhasabah for our own self and also to our family members. Now, we have a lot to cover. Hopefully, inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives barakah in our time so that we can finish it, inshallah. Now, I hope all of you here are well full of energy after kita dah makan malam tadi, and inshallah, hopefully we can use that energy to have a bit of focus, and inshallah in our dars tonight. Now, what are amongst the minor signs of Qiyamah? And we cover only one of the hadith Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we read from the kitab Al-Jami' li-Shu'ab al-Iman by Al-Imam Al-Bayhaqi radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, narrated a hadith from Amirul Mu'minin Sayyidina Ali bin Abi Talib radiyallahu ta'ala anhu wa arda, that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, يوشك أن يأتي على الناس زمان لا يبقى من الإسلام إلا اسمه ولا يبقى من القرآن إلا رسمه مساجدهم عامرة وهي خراب من الهدى علماؤهم أشر من تحت أيديهم السماء من عندهم يمدح الفتنة. صدق رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. Now this hadith is also narrated by Al-Imam Ibn Abi Dunya and also Al-Imam Bukhari, but not in his Jami' al-Sahih, but in his kitab Khalqu Af'al al-Ibad. Now in this in this hadith, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned 4 signs, and these are not the major signs, only the minor signs. What are those? There will come a time, and when is the time? It is now. The time has begun, and we have mentioned in our last week dars, the risalah, the beginning of the risalah of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam begins the first minor signs of Qiyamah. So this is the time now. There will come a time upon the people when nothing will remain of Islam except its name, and nothing will remain of the Quran except its words. The masjids will be splendidly furnished but devoid of guidance. The ulama will be the worst people. Trials will issue from them, and the harm of these trials will revert to them. So Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned 4 signs. The first, al-Islamu illa ismu. Islam remains only by name. Now, before that, we have to understand what is Islam means. Islam means in Loghatan surrender. I surrender. Or it also means peace, salam. That is from Logha, from the language itself, meaning Islam. But Islam in Shar'an, or Islam in Shara', Shara' means in what Allah and Rasul wants. Shara'. Shar'an, al-Islam, says Al-Imam Ibn Manzur from Lisan al-Arab, he says, al-Islam huwa adharu al-khudu' idha al-shari'ah والتزام ما أتى به النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. That is Islam in Shar'an. Islam in the meaning of what it means to practice. That is Azharul Hudu', to show inclination. Azharul Hudu' idha Shari'ah, when Shari'ah is present. That you show your inclination. It doesn't mean that, inclination meaning that you may be doing it in force, or you may be doing it with ikhlas. But the thing is, you have to show your inclination to the Sharia when Sharia is present. وَالْتِزَامَ مَا أَتَى بِهِ النَّبِي صَلَى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وسلم. And Islam also means to practice, to exalt, and to defend what is given to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So every day we see choices. You have to make choices. Which choice are more inclined to the Sharia? So at that point of time, when we make a choice, now are we making a choice inclined to the Sharia, to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam commandment, or not? Contohnya lah, for example, now comes the time to do Salat Maghrib. Now you're given a choice. Nobody is forcing you to do your Salat Maghrib. Nobody is taking out a pistol, putting at your head. Nak sembayang ke tak nak? Nobody is doing that. And you cannot force someone to do his or her salat. But you have to make a choice. Am I doing it, or I am not? So which is your inclination? When your choice says, never mind lah, I can jamak takhir, or I can, never mind, I wait until I'm 55 years old, then I do my salat. And when you start 55 years old, then you get your CPF. Is it correct? No, so lah. During my time, you get 55. No, I heard 85 years old, then you get your CPF. Is it? What more is it? I also don't have CPF. I don't have any money in my CPF account. So, no. That choice is wrong. That choice is not inclined to the Sharia. So at that point of time, when you make your choice, is it an Islamic choice? Are you making are you a Muslim when you do that choice, when you take that choice? And then that you know the answer, right? So that is Islam, Shar'an. Now, why does Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam say Islam remains only my name? Because in the future, or maybe in our time, Allah Ta'ala alam, many will claim to be following Islam, but their daily actions do not reflect that of a Muslim or a Muslimah. It's only in name. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam giving us the signs. Now, Islam is only used as in the identification for important documents. And this is what the ulama are telling us, explaining to us. And then sometimes people use Islam only for the sake of identification, for an important documents, like in ICs, something more lah, yang passport ke ataupun sebagainya. Some to facilitate marriage and so on. Because if you want to get married to a Muslim, you have a Muslim boyfriend or you have a Muslim girlfriend. In Singapore punya context, any Muslims who want to get married, he or she must go to the ROMM, Registry of Muslim Marriages. If he or she is not a Muslim but wants to marry another Muslim, his or her partner or future wife, future husband is a Muslim, but this person is not a Muslim, you cannot go to ROM, Register of Marriages. These are ROMM and ROM. Because when you go to ROM for civil marriage, then the registrar, they will ask, are you a Muslim? Say, yes, I know because your name got Muhammad. But then your future wife, nama dia Mary. My daughter is Mariam. Mary. Is she a Muslim or not? No, she's not a Muslim. And then you cannot marry her. Anyway, I don't know, I want to have a civil marriage. Secular marriage or something like that. I know you are Muslim, you have to go to ROMM. Then my wife, my fiance is not a Muslim. No, she has to be a Muslim, then she can get married. She cannot get a civil marriage. This is in Singapore law. Alhamdulillah. But then sometimes we see also there's a Muslim who marries with a non-Muslim. How is that so? That can happen because when he or she register his or her marriage at ROM, he or she has to declare that she's not a Muslim. Then he or she can register in ROM. At that point of time, of course, the registrar won't test lah. You look like a Malay, I think you are Muslim. He or she the registrar won't ask. Are you a Muslim? No, I'm not. Okay, take an oath. Because when you get married, you have to take oath. ROM ataupun ROM. You have to take an oath. So at that point of time, you have to take an oath. I'm not a Muslim. Okay, then you can go and marry in a civil court, civil registration marriage. Now, so sometimes they want to get married, but okay lah. You have to change your name. You have to become a Muslim. Okay, go to Darul Arkam, take an oath and be a Muslim. Say the Shahada. Now, how many Muslims are still deliberately disobeying Islamic Sharia? What does it mean, Sharia? Sharia. Everybody have this idea, even Muslims, when say Sharia, cut hand, potong tangan, potong kepala, cut your head. But that is not the whole Sharia. That is only a little bit part of Sharia. When you study fiqh, the biggest chapter in fiqh is about salat. That is the biggest chapter. Jihad is only a small chapter. If you bandingkan or you make to see a difference, which one is the biggest chapter? Salat is the biggest chapter in fiqh. So it shows that Salat is the most important in all knowledge, especially in fiqh. So everybody, when he says about jihad, question himself or herself, how is your salat? Have you done your salat? Have you achieved khushu', the first grade of salat, before talk about jihad or other things? That's why when we see Sultan Salahuddin Al-Ayyubi, rahimahumullah ta'ala, before he brings his army to face the Crusaders, he makes sure that all of his army soldiers perform Salat Jama'ah and also Salat Sunnah at night, Qiyamul Layl. If he's in knowledge that one of his soldiers are not performing Salat Qiyamul Layl, then he cannot participate in the battle. And this is also done by the Sahaba. Sayyidina Umar radiyallahu ta'ala anhu once wrote to Sayyidina Khalid ibn Walid radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. Sayyidina Khalid ibn Walid asked Amirul Mu'mineen, now we are in a bit of a difficult position, Amirul Mu'mineen, because now this is the 6th month. We are facing the Byzantines, but there is no way for us to move forward. So Sayyidina Khalid ibn Walid asked the opinion of Sayyidina Umar ibn Khattab. And he wrote the letter. And what did Amirul Mu'mineen answer? Sayyidina Umar said, check 2 things. One, how's the saf? How's the saf in Salat Jama'ah? Is it straight? And second, are your soldiers doing siwak, brushing teeth? Ajib. When your general asked the head of state or the commander about the strategy, what need to be done now in this battle, and then your commander said, you dah gosok gigi belum siwak, and do your soft. Now this general will laugh. Apa ni? We're going to war, want to fight. Why does Sayyidina Umar ask to check the soft and also siwak? Because salat is very important, especially in congregation in Jama'ah. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam make sure that everybody in the soft straight. That is one of the biggest sunnah. And also siwak, brushing your teeth, because that is one of the beloved sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam loved to siwak. And when Sayyidina Khalid ibn Walid practiced check among his soldiers, Allah Ta'ala gives the opening. And Allah Ta'ala gives victory. Because why? Because you take concern for the sunnah of the beloved, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala will give victory. It's sometimes illogical. If you're a professor, if you're doctors doing research, do PhDs, maybe one day you're doing PhDs, you do research, it's illogical, How can practice the sunnah, Allah Ta'ala gives this kind of victory? Sayyidina Khalid ibn Walid never lose any war. He is one of the greatest commander, general, not only in Islam, but in the human history. Never lose a war before, never lose a battle. Macam gitu, Allah Ta'ala gives that victory. Now, Sharia means law. Undang-undang. And there are 3 branches of laws. Islam, 3 branches of laws. The The first are the laws of belief. Second, laws of action. And third, laws of emotion. And these three branches constitute the Sharia. What is law of belief? Law of belief is Arkanul Iman, Rukun Iman, the article of faith. What are the laws of action? Action, laws of doing, action. It is Arkanul Islam, the 5 pillars. And thirdly, laws of emotion, talking about emotion. There are laws about emotion. What is halal, what is haram for your emotion. No, these are the 3 branches of Sharia. So every Muslim have to study these 3 branches of law. Of course, there are then these are the 3 main articles. Then of course there are smaller chapters following from that main articles of it. And we are not going to expand about this. So coming back, when we said about Islam remains only my name, so how many Muslims are deliberately disobeying Islamic Sharia? The main one. Some perform salah as they like. Some do it once a week. Or maybe some do twice a year. Salah, sembahyang, prayers. Every Muslim must pray every day 5 times. Every day. Sometimes, maybe because too tired, subuh, Fajr, very difficult to wake up, especially on holidays like today. Have you all done your responsibility? Finish voting? Voting is closed. 5 minutes. Salah, Fajr, tired. Never mind lah. Zuhur, Asar, working, schooling. Go back, Asar, very tired. Want to sleep. Maghrib, okay, can. Ishak, tired already. So many works to do. Tomorrow got a lot of busy schedule. This is something that you are obligated to do. You must do. These are the obligatory salat. When I was the Imam executive, early 2000, I was the Imam executive at Masjid Al-Amin in Teluk Belanga. Early 2000. So we are being invited by Majlis Ugama Islam Singapore, MUIS, to come. All imam executive, the style, Imam executive. But the work is still the same, to be Imam. So they invited us all. Then I remember that one of the senior officer in MUIS, they questioned us, the imams, Ustaz Asatizah, do you know how many percent, at that time was 2006, about early 2000. So he questioned, do you know how many percent children or youth from the age of 8 years old to 18 years old study Islamic knowledge? That is the question. So I don't know if that question is for us to answer, because nobody knows the answer, including myself. Then the senior officer said, don't you all read the newspaper, berita harian? Wah, ini orang kata cepu mas ni. No, we don't know. We don't read. But one senior Ustaz, Allah yarhamu, he passed away. He questioned back the senior officer. They said, if you said it is in the newspaper Berita Harian, what page? Oh, he asked back, what page? Because if it's not the first page, of course nobody will see the article, and nobody will want to read. Usually people will read number 1, number 3, number 5, odd pages. Then the senior officer said, actually is on page 2 below. That's why a lot of people don't read, because it's very small, insignificant. So what is the answer to the question? Is say that only 16.2% children from 8 years old to young adult 18 years old at that time, Muiz do the survey, who study Islamic knowledge. This is full-time and also part-time. Meaning full-time, students yang belajar in madrasah. We have 6 full-time madrasah in Singapore. And after that, part-time, madrasah weekly in masjids, also like private institution, Andalus or something else. Only 16.2%. In the newspaper article Berita Harian, make it nice, 20%. No, 16.2% is below average. Meaning that 80% tak belajar agama. 80% does not study Islamic knowledge. And that was, they made in 2006, if I'm not mistaken. Now we are now in 2023. So 8-year-old at that time, now what? How old? Plus 15 years, maybe now 23, 25, maybe. Maybe married. Maybe now he or she have a daughter. So you can see from that survey, if 80% doesn't study Islamic knowledge, inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. He or she knows how to salat. He or she knows how to mandi janabah. That is a big problem. But is it really a problem to us as a Muslim community? Because if we ponder, primary 6 Muslim, Malay Muslim, 20% only pass their PSLE. Is it a big news? If let's say 20% Malay Muslim pass their PSLE, meaning 80% fail. Do you think it will be a big problem? Big problem, huh? 80% Malay Muslim fail PSLE, na'udzubillah. You will see that article in the first page. Berita Harian keluar, Straits Times keluar, PM Lee Hsien Loong will say inside his National Day rally. Big problem. But of course, alhamdulillah, doesn't happen. But this shows how Islam is. You can see the signs. That is why you have to question ourselves. Is the sign of Qiyamah happening to me, in my family? Are my daughters, are my sons in that 20% or 80% who doesn't study Islamic knowledge? And that was in 2006 lah. But if you ask me, Ustaz, what is the new survey? The one we have to ask Muiz. We don't know. I don't know if Muiz do the survey, the latest survey or not. Now that is survey 8 years old to 18 years old. I don't know if they have done the survey for kids 18 to 80. We don't know how many percent 18 to 80 yang study and study Islamic knowledge. So they perform salah as they like. Some do it once a week or twice a year. Salat twice a year. What salat is that? Idul Adha, Idul Fitri. Itu pun sunat, bukan wajib pun. This is voluntarily. Idul Adha, Idul Fitri, voluntarily, sunnah. Not wajib also. Fasting in Ramadan is rare. They make up all sorts of reasons and not to salat, not to fast in Ramadan. Some we met salat only in Ramadan. Finish Ramadan, salat also finish. No more salat. Ramadan next year, Masya Allah, Subhanallah, Ajib. Salat 5 times a day, including Tarawih. Including Tarawih. But of course, when at the end, after the mid of Ramadan, Tarawih also do at home. But it's okay, the Tarawih is only voluntary. What we are worried is about the everyday Salat, the obligatory Salat fardu. Fasting in Ramadan, rare. The same goes for Zakat. Not caring that the wealth in their possession has the rights of the asnaf, such as the fakir and miskin in it. There are some Muslims that we've met don't want to pay zakat. Ajib, yes. What is their excuse? I don't want to pay zakat and mu'iz. Or if you don't want to pay zakat and mu'iz, you can always pay zakat at other places. You can go to Jamiah. You can go to AMB. You also can go Pergas. Oh, no. I don't want to pay zakat in mu'iz. I don't know if you listen to the answer or not. He keep repeating, don't want to pay zakat for me, to mu'iz. For me, it's just an excuse. Zakat meaning here, zakat fitrah or zakat wealth. In performing Hajj, their only priority is the title of Haji and Hajjah. Achieve. One comes back from Hajj. Bang, apa khabar? Abang Haji. And ala kulli hal, it's not wrong for someone to declare, Alhamdulillah, my name is Haji, Haji or Al-Hajj, Malik Shabazz Al-Hajj. Wow, macam Malcolm X lah. Al-Hajj. Okay. But that is not the priority of doing Hajj, to get the name Hajj itself. But more importantly is, when someone has performed Hajj, how is their behavior? The most importantly, to reflect ourselves in being Muslim. When someone has finished doing their Hajj, what is their behavior? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Quran about Hajj, فَلَا رَفَثَ وَلَا فُسُوقَ وَلَا جِدَالَ. Allah ta'ala says, those who perform Hajj, وَلَا رَفَثَ. Rafatha means no foul language. No, Rafatha means more to sexual innuendo. Cakap celupa. You know, before Hajj, no. Mulut ni celupa. Mouth likes to speak all the sexual innuendo. But when return from Hajj, stop Rafath. Only to your spouse. Yes. To your wife, to your husband, but not among your friends. Especially friends of the opposite sex. Dulu sebelum Hajj, yes. But after Hajj, you have to stop this. You should stop all this. Wala rafasa wala fusuq. Fusuq means doing major sins. Major sins. We said last week, Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Abbas says there are 70 major sins. When you finish Hajj, not that you are clean all, I don't do sins anymore after Hajj. No. But one who has performed Hajj, that Hajj has full impact to him or to her. They take care. These are major sins. No, I don't want to do it. If I do it also, if I didn't, I make sure I taubat as fast as I can, as soon as I can. No? Wala jidal. Allah Ta'ala said, Hajj, wala jidal. Means what? Jidal. No debating. No quarreling. Especially with words. Like to jidal. No? You say, I answer back 20 words. You said 20 words, I return another 40 words. Oh, jidal, debate. So that is actually the signs of when someone that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept his or her Hajj, wala rafatha, wala fusuq, wala jidal. Now, what happens now? That is for us to reflect. Are there signs of the last day happening in ourselves, in our family? And also the interest in studying Islamic sciences is decreasing. Why Islam remains only by name is because interest in studying Islamic sciences is decreasing. In fact, parents only enroll their children in school to gain worldly profit for the future. Bukan salah pun, it's not wrong. When you start, how can you say like that? My parents also, you tak belajar nanti jadi orang angkat sampah nanti. Hey, you don't study well, huh? What you want to become? You want to become this one, work at Ministry of Environment. That is how our parents, my parents also said that once to me. But that is not the purpose of seeking knowledge. The purpose of seeking knowledge is not for only worldly gains. What is it? What is it, Ustaz? To ask the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To ask the redha of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To become a good Khalifa fil ard. That is one of our main purpose. Why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made us so. These two main responsibility of a human. To be an Abdullah and to also be a Khalifatullah. That is our job. And to do that two main responsibilities, we must seek knowledge. Knowledge fardu ain and also knowledge fardu kifayah. That is our purpose. And what about the worldly gains, Ustaz? Don't worry. Don't worry. Because if you have knowledge, like all the, orang putih kata apa? Knowledge is power. When you have that knowledge, you know your goal is to be Abdullah, Khalifatullah, Allah Ta'ala will give you the worldly profits. Inshallah. But that is not our main purpose. You want to become a lawyer, you want to become an engineer, you want to become what? Anything that you want to be. Anything meanings in this sphere of Islamic law lah, Don't say, Ustaz, I also want to be thief. I want to be macam Ocean 11, Ocean 12. Have you seen that movie? Ocean 11, Ocean 12? Or I'm the only one who see it? Ustaz pun tengok cerita. No, I want to be like that. No lah, you have to follow the Sharia lah, no? You cannot be a thief. Although now Hollywood glorify all these things. Hollywood glorify all the haram things. You look at it as, wow, very good, very style, very cool. So the interest in studying Islamic sciences is decreasing. In fact, parents only enroll their children in school to gain worldly profit for the future, and not with the aim of delving deep into the teachings of true Islamic Sharia to preserve and spread within oneself, family members, and the community. Have you ever heard when someone asks, MashaAllah, you are top student, top Malay Muslim student in Singapore. Can I know what is your goal? What is your ambition? Oh, I want to become a good Abdullah and a good Khalifatullah. Wow. Luar biasa. Extraordinary. That is the main purpose. Some people speak about Islam even though they themselves do not practice it. They are good at twisting their tongues to strengthen other people's belief in them as someone who indeed champions Islam. So much so that they are unaware of deliberately changing the halal to haram and vice versa. And this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said. There are some people who talk about Islam, mashallah, better than any ulama. Very good. Very oratory. Can speak very good. Like Obama, like that. Very good. Without any what is this? Any notes. People can hypnotized by the speech, by his way of talking, Islam. But then he himself doesn't practice it. She herself doesn't practice it. And much more worse, sometimes they say the halal can be haram, and also the haram also can be halal. Sometimes we hear ada halal gap, mashallah. Is there such thing as halal gap or not? What is halal gap? I heard this istilah. I'm still studying because it's like a new fake term. Halal gap. Oh, halal gap means, you go out with your girlfriend or boyfriend, but we have this gap. Is like this? Sure, huh? Sure. This is halal gap, Ustaz. So meaning okay, Okay. But then, do you feel that electrifying feeling, sensation when your not your fiance lah, your girlfriend do like this? Do you feel that electrifying sensation? No lah, Ustaz, no. Sure not. You cannot be like batang pisang, what is it, batang pisang in English? Banana terang. Anything. Surely you feel that sensation, right? It's normal. But better lah, Ustaz. Better than like this, right? If you question me like that, of course lah. This one is, of course, the halal gap is better than without any gap. But is it halal or haram? It's still haram, right? Then how to do that? I still want to see my girlfriend. Then you have to do a lot of tawbah. When you do istighfar lah, astaghfirullah. But at least you acknowledge. Don't say it's halal. Don't say it's halal. It's still haram. Still haram, but Ustaz, I know, nowadays, I know it's haram now, Ustaz. But still let us acknowledge and let us also do istighfar. Of course, it's much more better lah than when we do like this. We like this lagi teruk. That's why Nabi SAW says, when a person who are not mahram went out together by twos, let it be known that you are not only two. There will be another one, number 3. And who is that? Shaitan. No, that is the other shaitan, Ulama say that there's one other shaitan. You haven't count your own shaitan. Because every person have their own shaitan, qarin. So you imagine how many? Another shaitan plus 2, got 3 shaitan. Because qarin is shaitan. Your qarin. Which Nabi SAW says, his or her face is exactly like you. Only that he or she is not a human, but it's a jinn, shaitan, qarin. So, you go to with your partner, your girlfriend or your boyfriend, one shaitan coming, then another two shaitan also follow. Oh, sure. So 3 shaitan. Now, then I heard there's one istilah, this halal gap. Oh, so you don't go by twos. You invite her sister, her small sister, or her small brother. So, see, you and your girlfriend, and then your girlfriend punya adik. So halal lah. Is it? No, this one I have to ask Mufti lah if it's really halal or not. Nah, don't make what is halal haram, and don't make haram what haram to halal. And now you also see, there are also Muslims who say, no. Huh? I'm free to love anybody I want to love. Love is love. Love is love. I'm a man, I love a man. Allah Ta'ala make me like this. So, halal to get married? Yes, halal, can halal. So, you making what haram to halal. Cannot do that. Because Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala says, Am lahum syuraka syar'u lahum minad din. Is it that they have no other gods, that they set the laws of this religion without the permission of Allah? In Surah Ash-Shu'ara, ayat 21, Allah Ta'ala question, to those who make halal haram, haram halal. Do you think you have other gods that you can change any laws from Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, and you don't seek permission from Allah? Or you think this one is your religion, is it? No, this is Allah's religion, You cannot change what the Bani Israel did before is happening now. The Bani Israel, they changed the Tawrat. Literally, they changed the Tawrat. They changed the Injil. And they say, no, this is from Allah. Allah Ta'ala said, who are you to change the words of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala? Sayyidina Huzaifa bin al-Yaman radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, a Sahabi, whom Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam shared with him a lot of secrets. Sayyidina Huzaifa is called the keeper of Rasulullah's secrets. Say a lot of secrets. Rasulullah told him, but Rasulullah don't tell to other Sahaba. And one of his special connection with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is that Rasulullah told him who are the hypocrites, who are the confirmed hypocrites in Madinatul Munawwara. There are 300s. The chief, everybody knows, Abdullah ibn Salul. Everybody knows him. Everybody knows him is a hypocrite, munafiq. But the others, Rasulullah don't say. But Sayyidina Huzaifa ibn al-Yaman knows who are they. Sayyidina Umar radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, always, every day, he would see Sayyidina Huzaifa, and then he would ask, he questioned Sayyidina Huzaifa, Ya Huzaifa, am I today a hypocrite? Sayyidina Abu Umar. Allah Ta'ala, Rasulullah gave him a visa to Jannah. Still alive. You're Ahlul Jannah, Ya Umar. But every day he go and see to Sayyidina Huzaifa, Ya Huzaifa, am I a munafiq today? And Sayyidina Huzaifa will always repeat every day, tiap hari. No, you are not, Umar. No, you are not. No, you are not. But that worry, Sayyidina Umar radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, am I a munafiq today? Am I a hypocrite? This is a lesson for us. For us. We question ourselves. Am I having a face of a hypocrite or a true believer? Hasibu qabla an tuhasibu. Check yourself before Allah Ta'ala check later in Mahshar. Sayyidina Huzaifa said when he was asked, what is nifaq? أن تتكلم بالإسلام ولا تعمل. When you speak much about Islam, but you do not act upon its teaching. Riwayah from the Kitab Siyarul A'lam al-Nubala. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Inna akhwafa ma akhafu ala ummati kullu munafiq alimul lisan." Indeed, what I fear most for my ummah is every hypocrite with a knowledgeable tongue. Na'udzubillah min zalik. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always cleanse our hearts, our ruh, from having this dangerous, cancerous sickness in our heart, that is nifaq. Ameen. Second sign, La yabqa min al-Quran illa rasmuh. Al-Quran remain only by words. You will see that. What does it mean? The scholar says it is recitation is beautified for competitions, while its contents are not practiced daily. You're very, I have to read Quran very good, very nice. Of course you do. Of course you must. You have to read the Quran how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends to Malaikat Jibril, and Malaikat Jibril recite to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam in 10 qiraats. Ajib. In 10 ways of reciting Quran. You only learn one. Itu pun belum pas lagi. Alif, bata, alif, tendang, waw. Ni apa? So we are still far away. You have to read the Quran nicely, with makhraj, with the perfect, not perfect. My teacher always said that if you cannot read 100%, at least you can read 80% lah. No, if you cannot read 80% of reciting, at least 50% lah. That is pass also. At least you can know your Surah Al-Fatiha is pass, sah, valid, and you perform salah. How do I know that, Ustaz? You have to sit down in front of a teacher. You hear your teacher, your sheikh read the Quran, and then you read, and your sheikh will listen to what you read, you recite. Or cannot from YouTube, Ustaz? No lah, YouTube you can listen from there lah, but you cannot learn Quran from YouTube. Or some, classes like this, 40 students, and then the sheikh, the ustaz, sits here. Okay, now everybody read Quran, Surah Al-Fatiha. Everybody read Surah Al-Fatiha. Oh, that ustaz must be very, very thorough, very skillful, can listen one time 40 students reading Surah Al-Fatiha. That is not doing. 40 students, everyone have to listen. That's why being a Quranic teacher is also tiring. No? You have to listen one by one. Mazdiuky, walad dolin, walad penat. This cane beside macam nak ambil dikim nak ketuk kepala. But now you cannot use cane. See, Al-Quran recitation is important, but what is more important than recitation is that you understand the Quran that you are reciting, especially Surah Al-Fatiha. Ma'asharatul lab, or students, at least you have to understand what Surah Al-Fatiha is, because Surah Al-Fatiha is rukun, wajib, especially in doing you're performing your salat. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has reproached various peoples due to their negligence of Al-Quran. In Surah Muhammad, ayat 24, Allah ta'ala says, أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنَ أَمْ عَلَى قُلُوبٍ أَقْفَالُهَا. Do they not think over the Quran, or are their hearts locked? When you read the Quran, you have to try to understand it. At least you read the translation, then you study from a sheikh to understand the meaning of the whole Quran. Therefore, we should be sure to contemplate or understand the meanings of the verses of the Quran when we read them. Reading a little with reflection and understanding the meaning is better than reading a lot without reflection and understanding. Some people question why you every time in salat you always baca Qul huwallahu ahad, Qul a'udzu birabbil falaq, Qul a'udzu binnas. Bacalah surah Baqarah ke? Ya, insyaAllah. But I need to understand all these short surah. I need to grasp the meaning, to understand deeply what is Allah Ta'ala trying to say from this surah. Then insyaAllah, you upgrade, you study more and you study more. Al-Imam Hassan al-Basri radiyallahu ta'ala anhu said, the people before you considered the pages of the Quran. Who are the people before you? Who are the people before Imam Hassan al-Basri? Imam Hassan al-Basri is a tabi'i, meaning that he studied the knowledge from all the Sahaba. And he has 80 more Sahaba as his teachers. Al-Imam Hassan al-Basri. So Imam Hassan al-Basri said, the people before you, that is the Sahaba, considered the pages of the Quran as letters that Allah Ta'ala sent to them. So they tried to examine them at night so that they could carry out their orders during the day. This is what the Sahaba is doing every day, every night. They try to understand. The Sahaba, they try to remember what is Rasulullah has taught about the Quran that they are reading. Because all Sahaba read Quran from Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. If some Sahaba who do not read the Quran in front of Rasulullah, they will read in front of the Sahaba that Rasulullah has appointed as Qari. And the most well-known is like Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Zubair, Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Abbas, Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, Sayyidina Ubay ibn Ka'ab. These all are Sahabas who are very nice voices, very good recitations, and they study from Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. They read the Quran in front of Nabi. Now, moving on, the third sign, masjids are splendidly furnished but devoid of guidance. Masajiduhum amiratun wa hiya kharabun min al-huda. There will come a time, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, the sign is that masjids are splendidly furnished, very beautiful masjids, mashallah, very nice. I'm not saying that, make your masjid like only use mud, the what? The poles use date palm trees or something like that. Follow 100% Sunnah Masjid Nabawi, No, it doesn't mean that. You can make your masjid beautiful. You can make your masjid, mashallah, satellite masjid, got Wi-Fi lah, something lah, blah, blah, blah. Mashallah. But the most important is the content, the inside of that masjid. Not only splendidly furnished, but then no guidance. No, devoid of guidance. Masjids must be built on the basis of taqwa, God consciousness. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لَمَسْجِدٌ أُسِّسَ عَلَى التَّقْوَى مِنْ أَوَّلِ يَوْمٍ أَحَقُّ أَن تَقُومَ فِيهِ رِجَالٌ يُحِبُّونَ أَن يَتَطَهَّرُوا وَاللَّهُ يُحِبُّ الْمُطَّهِّرِينَ. In fact, the masjid that was founded on taqwa, what is this masjid that Allah Ta'ala says in the Quran? Masjid Quba, the first masjid in Islam. Of course, the first masjid on the earth is Masjid al-Haram lah. But this first masjid in the Risalah of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Masjid Quba. And after that, Masjid Nabawi. Masjid Nabawi, Masjid Quba is the first. If you go to Masjid Quba, nanti insyaAllah, every 2 rak'ats, you will get the ajr or the rewards of performing umrah. That is how big the rewards that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. So when you go to Masjid Quba later on, insyaAllah for ziyarah, make sure you do a lot of Salat raka'atain, salat sunnah, 2 rakats. Every 2 rakats, umrah. Every 2 rakats, umrah. Masjid Quba. So Allah Ta'ala says in the Quran, in fact, the masjid that was founded on taqwa, that is Masjid Quba, or any masjid, from the very first day has greater right than you stand in it. In it, there are people who like to observe purity, and Allah loves those observing purity. What purity means is the cleanliness of the heart and also the cleanliness of the outside, the outwardly. Both of them must be clean. Your clothing must be clean. And that's why Rasulullah likes to wear white colors. And Rasulullah also liked his ummah to wear white colors because it shows the purity. Putih, cantik, very clean, outwardly and also inwardly. Batin. Now the ulama, prophetic inheritors, say that the role of masjid as the noblest place on the face of the earth. This is a hadith. The most noblest place on the earth are masjids, the building itself. Not any part of earth, no. The place that you have intention, the masjid, that is the most noblest of all on the place of the earth. And it should be made as places that mold people to follow the commandments of Allah. In the masjid, you have to have activities that teach the people, give motivational for the sense of strengthening the iman, abandon his prohibitions externally and internally, zahir and batin, while feeling the greatness, fear and awe of the true majesty of Allah. You can make your masjid, mashallah. You see, when you see just the building, you can feel the awe of the religion itself. You see Masjid al-Haram, Jeeb, subhanallah. You see Masjid Nabawi, Jeeb. When you see masjid, any masjid, that building have to have the feeling of that to motivate someone to do amal. So that's why masjid building, and this is for the future architects, make your masjids look like a masjid. Don't make your masjid look like community center. Especially when you are in a majority Muslim region, make it look like masjid lah. Oh no, we have to do modern, Ustaz. Modern have to look very, very spaceship like. No need the dome lah, Ustaz. No need the dome. Dome. Sing also use dome also. Ajib. You can see like that. No, don't. You have to honor the tradition. You have to honor the people, the community. Have that pride. Not sombong, no, You have to be proud of your heritage, especially Islamic heritage. Because if Muslims does not honor Islamic heritage, Islamic traditions in every nation, then who else? Like Allah Ta'ala question, or Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam question, who else can make your masjid prosper? Only the Muslims. You cannot ask the Christians to do that. You cannot ask the Jews to make your masjid prosper. You Muslims have to do that. Right. Some declare that Ustaz Mazdiuky is a traditionalist, not a modernist. There's one PhD student. I don't recognize her. I also do not know her. So she wrote a PhD thesis. She's from NUS. I don't know. I forgot what is the thesis. But then someone emailed me, and Ustaz, your name inside PhD thesis. Wow. You know, I don't know. I have been that stage where people make research of me, but of course I'm not lah. But they give one example. Ustaz Mazdiuky is a traditionalist ustaz who is not keen of liberal views. No, these words are very chim for me lah. So the thing that you say that I don't accept modern views. No, I do accept modern views. Alhamdulillah, I use this is modern. This is the first time I used this iPad, and I was so very good. I no need to bring paper. This is modern. No, you have to honor your tradition, especially Islamic tradition, especially that comes from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay. Moving on. So in the hadith, it is mentioned the masjids will be splendidly furnished out but devoid of guidance. Huda is guidance and Hujjatul Islam. Al-Imam Al-Ghazali said in his kitab Bidayatul Hidayah, Hidayah is the fruit of knowledge. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Man izdada ilman wa lam yazdad huda, lam yazdad min Allahi illa bu'da. Whoever increases in knowledge but does not increase in guidance, in deeds. Knowledge bertambah. Knowledge, Masya Allah. You got a lot of diplomas, you got a lot of certificates, Masya Allah. Khair, that is good. But huda, you have to increase in your deeds. But if your deeds are not increased, then what is Rasulullah said? Then he only gets further away from the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us one of those who are increase in knowledge, also increase in deeds, inshallah. I mean, masjids should be enlivened with full events every day that guides people towards hidayah and taqwa, such as salat jama'ah. This is a must. Masjid must have salat jama'ah. Die must have. Not die lah. Meaning you must have salat jama'ah. If you don't have imam, get an imam. If I don't have any budget, get a budget. Get a budget. If you don't have budget for Bilal, get a budget for Bilal. I met one of LPM members, bonds management members, once in masjid that I work. He told me, Ustaz, we have to, our budget is high, Ustaz, we have to, lower a bit the budget. Why not anybody become Bilal? So the question, what do you mean anybody can become Bilal, can become Muazzin? No, we choose from the Jama'ah lah, Ustaz. Meaning that, let's say, now Zohor, I don't have my Bilal, so I go to the Jama'ah who is inside the masjid. Anybody want to become Bilal? Volunteer. Come on lah, you pay the Bilal also $5. $5 also you want to count lah. $5 only, not like $50. One day, how much? $25. You collect every Friday $8,000. They want also you want to be very petty. No, this is main events of masjid. Honor them. Get a good Bilal. Like what Rasulullah said, a good Bilal, a good Muazzin is a strong voice, beautiful voice. And that is the priority. Go and get it. Can anybody say, today I want to build a house, any good architects outside? Any good engineers? You have to have that knowledge, right? Also, when you become a muazzin, you have to have that knowledge. So don't be petty. One day you will become, inshallah, maybe, I don't know, most management members, future chairman, future secretary, remember. These are all the main events. main activities of a masjid: salah jama'ah, majalis lectures, classes, dars, sciences of fardu ain, aqidah, fiqh, tasawwuf, based on the Ahl al-Sunnah wal Jama'ah, and fardu kifayah. You have to have zikrullah, recitation of the Quran, tahlil, tasbih, tahmid, salawat upon the Nabi, and so on, and others that are related to it. This is the everyday activities of any masjids. People come or don't come, you don't worry. Allah Ta'ala will make people come. Ya ke Ustaz? Yes. Nabi Ibrahim, when Allah Subhanahu Wa Ta'ala told him, you go and do in Kaabah. Go and build the Kaabah. Kaabah, in the time of Nabi Ibrahim, only 3 layers of bricks. No roof also. Kiswa also don't have. After Nabi Ibrahim and Nabi Ismail did the Kaabah, Allah Ta'ala told Nabi Ibrahim, now go up to the Jabal Qubais. There is one mountain. Now you don't see that mountain anymore, because that place was made to be the palace of the Saudi king. Jabal Abi Qubais. Allah Ta'ala asked Nabi Ibrahim to go up on the top and call everybody, come to Makkah, do your Hajj. And Nabi Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam said, asked to Allah Subhanahu Wa Ta'ala, Ya Allah, nobody here. It's only myself and my son, and also my wife, Sayyidah Hajar. Nobody here. Allah Ta'ala said, no, you just preach. You just call. Your voice, I will make them heard for the people to come. And now you see what happened at Masjidil Haram? Like this. Ramadan. You know what is this? You go at Masjidil Haram, you want to tawaf like this. Ramadan. Haji like this. Every day, 24/7, people come in, come out, come in, come out. Now what's your problem? Allah Ta'ala will make it. Have confidence, man. Allah Ta'ala will help. You just go and invite people. In masjid, do all these activities. People will come. But when masjid stop all of this, then these are what Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said. These are one of the signs when masjid is devoid of any guidance. Ulama, it would be unfortunate if masjids were only built for the namesake and had the most beautiful construction. Masjid, very nice, very beautiful, but nobody inside. What for? No need. Like what happened now at Andalus. SubhanAllah, beautiful masjid. But nobody is praying inside. Although I heard, there are muazzins now. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam. I want to give you another story, but then we cannot finish the thing next time. Ulama, the fourth sign. Is this the fourth sign? Yes, it is. Ulama will be the worst people. From a sign in Rasulullah's hadith, there will soon be an ulama. Ulama means scholars, the learned people. Learned people. Who are classified as the most evil people on the face of the earth. Allah. Should not be like that, right? Ulama should be the prophetic inheritors. But there is ulama, they are the most evil people on the face of the earth. This is because it is from ulama su'. Su' means rotten. In English, su' means rotten. Busuk. Bad. This is because it is from ulama su' that fitnas, tribulation, doubts, misunderstandings, misinformation, and others will arise among the community, especially the Muslim Ummah. Because of these ulama twisted words, what is haram can be considered halal. What is halal can be regarded as haram. And this is the main thing that sometimes you see. Maulid, bid'ah ni bid'ah. Kullu bid'atin dalalah wa kullu dalalah fin nar. You use hadith sama. You go where? Maulid, majlis Maulid. This is bid'ah. Nabi do not do any majlis Maulid. Tahlil. Bid'ah. Bid'ah. And he used the hadith. كل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. Every bid'ah, every innovation is ضلالة اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد. ضلال means apa? Sesat. Sesat apa in English? Misguidance. I just said misguidance. Misguidance, and every misguidance is in the hellfire. Ajib. What do you do in Majlis Maulid? Majlis Maulid, what do you see people doing inside? Reading the seerah of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, reading the salawat, reading the Quran. Is this what you say it is haram? No, right? Then why you haram the halal? No. Very long story, but this is just an example lah. Because they use hadith. Whereas Al-Imam Shafi'i explained, bid'ah there are two forms. One is mazmuma, one is mahmuda. There is praiseworthy innovation, Al-Imam Shafi'i said, and there's also misguidance in innovations. So that is a topic that we have to learn. But now is not the time lah. What is included in religious affairs is considered worldly affairs. And worldly affairs are considered religious affairs that must be followed. The ulama twisting words. Such ulama's teachings are influenced by worldliness, status, or the position they held. They are misguided and they are misleading. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam advised. No, I'm not saying that all ulama with position, with status are all corrupted. No, I'm not saying that. No, this is life. I say, Ustaz, are you saying the mufti also like that? No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that if any ulama, they change the laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because of their status, because of their position, then they have to be careful. And also the public. Because such ulama's teaching are influenced by worldliness, status of the position held, they are misguided and misleading. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam advised, غير الدجال أخوف على أمتي من الدجال الإمة المضلين. Apart from Ad Dajjal, one thing worries me more than Ad Dajjal. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Apart from that Dajjal, what worries me, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, more than Ad Dajjal, they are the leaders who are misguided. The ulama su, the evil scholars. Hadith riwayat by Imam Ahmad. Imam Al-Ghazali radiyallahu ta'ala anhu said the aim of the Dajjal is clear in wanting to lead people astray. But the ulama su, although his tongue is good at turning people away from the love of the world, their deeds and action invite others to do evil. This is what Imam Al-Ghazali said. Imam Al-Ghazali said, the ulama, mashallah, this ulama su, they talk very good with Quran, with hadith, but look at their action, look at their deeds, look at their akhlaq. And people are more easily attracted by the ulama su action than their words. So what can be damaged by ulama su with their action is more than what can be repaired by their tongue. Ignorant people do not dare to chase the world in extremes, except after seeing the audacity of the ulama su. So their knowledge becomes the reason for the audacity of people to commit various vices. This is what the Prophet ﷺ was very worried about. The ulama should be the inheritors of the prophets, specifically inheritors of Nabi Muhammad ﷺ. Rasulullah said, Innal ulama warathatul anbiya. Verily, ulama are the inheritors of the prophets. What is meant is that they are the inheritors of the Sharia, the three laws that I just mentioned, the three branches of laws brought by Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Thus, the ulama are responsible for spreading the true Islamic Sharia. That is their job. Do you want to see an alim talk about politics, talk about owning a property, talk about doing business? You want an alim, you want a scholar and ulama that can show you the way of the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam by his words, by his actions, by his akhlaq, by his deeds. That is what we want to see from our ulama. Thus, ulama who are the inheritors of the prophets are like stars that are used as a guide that navigates people who are in the darkness of land and sea. They always lead the community so that they do not stray far from the path of Allah, and the leaders who drive the community. Rasulullah said, Inna mathal al-ulama fil ard كمثل النجوم في السماء يهتدى بها في ظلمات البر والبحر فإذا انطمست النجوم أوشك أن تضل الهدى. Indeed, the parable of the ulama on this earth is like the stars, used as a guide in the darkness of land and sea. When you're so dark, what do you use as a guide? The stars. And ulama are like those stars. So, who are actually the stars? Celebrity? Ulama lah ya. They should have the apa tu? Hollywood star. Astaghfirullahalazim. Ustaz Mazdiuky ni star. Nah, I'm not an ulama. I am proud to be the student of an ulama. But ulama don't know yet lah. Hopefully, my children will be the ulama. If not, then my children's. If not, my children's children. You have to have that ambition. Maybe we are not ulama, but we are suffice to be the servants of ulama. Ulama prophetic inheritors. When these stars disappear in the dark, there's a fear of getting lost. Now, ulama prophetic inheritors, and I always say that ulama prophetic inheritors. I don't say ulama by itself, because there are two different ulama su, and there are also ulama warisatul anbiya. Ulama prophetic inheritors lead the general public with actions before words, starting from their personal character, morals, and appearance. They will not tell someone to do something good unless they have inherited, they have initiated and cared about it, and does not prohibit a person from evil unless they have distanced themselves from it and are firm in abandoning it. They have to move first for themselves. And go to disco. Sekali you see Ustaz Mazdiuky inside disco. But now you so have to be careful also. Why? Because anybody can make their faces in video, no, ajib. So nowadays, you have, if you see any video, sekali you see Ustaz Mazdiuky like this. I know I'm doing this, inside that. Pun danger juga. No, hey, Ustaz Mazdiuky at Zook lah. You have to go and ask Ustaz Mazdiuky first. Ustaz, I know there's a video, viral video, you are inside Zoom. Really? What I'm doing? Do like this. I know I haven't been there, no. Wallah, I haven't been there. No, it's you, Ustaz. Your nose I can recognize from far. And now you can, you can do what, apa tu? Photoshop. Right. My daughters, they show me this one apps. What's in mine? Abba, you can become Superman, Abba. Really? Show how? She download this one app, and then you can put the, your picture. Your picture, you can see, you can find my pictures anywhere now. Social media, Facebook, Ustaz Mazdiuky. Or take that picture, put inside the video. Ajib, you can make Ustaz Mazdiuky become Superman. Batman also can. Mr. Bean. Mr. Bean become Wonder Woman. And it almost look like true, and this is only free apps. What about, the all professional type, professional Hollywood type? So now one has to be careful about the fitnah that happening. Before you see, you're going to ask, fatabayyanu. Because, but if it's true, and alim does like that, then he has to stop first before he tells other people to do it or to prevent from it. Al-Imam Tajuddin Nu'man Az-Zarnuji rahimahumullah said, and when choosing a teacher, a student, that is us, should choose the most knowledgeable, meaning a teacher who has a lot of knowledge. To choose the most wara, meaning a teacher who is the character of wara. Wara means that they prevent themselves doing all the makruhats, not the haram. Haram you cannot do at all. The makruhats. The makruhat, meaning, that it is not haram, but it's not preferably to do it. Like maybe, it's a rokok ke, it's a shisha ke. Some of the examples lah. Some of the examples. You see Ustaz Mazdiuky sub. Oh, shisha pun ada. It's not haram. It's not haram. Some ulama may say, smoking is haram, but we are more inclined to the ulama say it's a makruhat, especially although if you have a heart problem, that is different now. But the ulama, they will prevent themselves doing the makruhats. Choose a teacher that is wara, which is to be careful to guard against prohibited things. To choose the most mature, meaning a teacher who has a mature age. Unless that 12 years old is like Imam Shafi'i, that is a different case lah. Imam Shafi'i, 12 years old, Imam Malik sick, Imam Malik asked Imam Shafi'i to sit on his chair, and he was only 12 years old. 12, maybe 16. Still young lah, Sec 4, teach in Masjid Nabawi. Ajib. Must be extraordinary lah. Because Imam Shafi'i, before he study with Imam Malik, he has hafal, memorized the whole Muwatta. Ajib, the whole Muwatta. Muwatta is like this thick, with all the hadith, with all the matan. Kita Quran je terkial-kial. Qul ya ayyuhal kafirun la'abudu ma ta'budun wa ta'budun ma ta'budun ta'budun. Lakum dinukum fiya. Lakum dinukum tak masuk-masuk. Lakum dinukum haven't enter. Ta'budun. What about Muwatta itself? Ajib. Imam Shafi'i, 12 years old. Halas. Memorize all this. Now, still okay? Can I have a drink first? Because we have to still finish this major science, inshallah. I think we are going to finish lah, inshallah. How many more pages? Alamak, banyaknya. I think you have to make another week. Okay, can I? I think if someone need to do stretching, you want to do a bit of light exercise to make your blood move, faddal. You want to finish this, inshallah. You want to go to the toilet, tafaddal. No need to ask permission, just go. Then we move on. Among the major signs of Qiyamah, and this is only one of the major signs of Qiyamah, that is the emergence of Ad Dajjal. Now, Ad Dajjal is not a name. It is a nickname, also to speak. Will be younger than them. They will be 14.
That's why the demand starts now, the education starts now, because you don't want your children, your grandchildren, to be the followers of that. Start from now. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tests to his makhluk called Ad Dajjal. Na'amatullah alayhi. It's the greatest test inflicted on the believer. There is no other test that is equal to it or exceeds. Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, ما بين خلق آدم إلى قيام الساعة خلق أكبر من الدجال. Allah himself said, from the time Allah created Nabi Adam until the day of Qiyamah, imagine that time period, time left. When was Nabi Adam born? So-called neighbor. You have date. What right also you do? From Nabi Adam until the day of Qiyamah, there is not a single person, animal. Al-Anbiya, all the prophets, reminded the people of the trial of Dajjal. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, إِنَّهُ لَمْ تَكُنْ فِتْنَةٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ مُنْذُ بَرَاءَ اللَّهِ ذُرِّيَّةَ آدَمَ أَعْظَمُ مِنْ فِتْنَةِ الدَّجَّالِ وَإِنَّ اللَّهَ لَمْ يَبْعَثْ
نبيا إلا حذر أمته الدجال وأنا آخر الأنبياء وأنتم آخر الأمم وهو خارج فيكم لا محالة وإن يخرج وأنا بين ظهرانيكم فأنا حجيج لكل مسلم وإن يخرج من بعدي فكل امرئ حجيج نفسه والله خليفتي على كل مسلم. What does it mean? Indeed, there is no fitnah. Fitnah means test, seduction, deception means fitnah. That's the meaning of fitnah. There is no fitnah, seduction, deception of Allah on this earth since Allah created the zuriyah of Nabi Adam until the day of Qiyamah that is more terrible than the fitnah of Dajjal. Verily Allah does not send a prophet unless the prophet has warned his people about the fitnah of Dajjal. So Nabi Adam warned to his children, Nabi Idris, Nabi Nuh, Nabi Bani Israel, Nabi until the last prophet, the last Nabi, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, warn his people about the fitnah of Ad Dajjal. I, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, am the last prophet, and you are the last ummah, the last mankind, generation of mankind, or humankind. So Ad Dajjal will certainly emerge in your time. So confirm lah, because Dajjal have not introduced himself to the prophets before him. So Ad Dajjal will certainly emerge in your time, because it has been proven until the time of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam that Ad Dajjal has not emerged. If he, Nabi said, if he emerges and I am still among you, and it does not happen. But Nabi said, if he emerges and I am still among you, then I will be the one who will debate with him. Hajijun, debate. Because Nabi cannot kill Dajjal. No. Only one person can kill Dajjal. That is Nabi Isa alayhi salatu wassalam. Nabi Isa is still living. Where is he? Allahu Ta'ala a'lam. But he's still living. Of course, not in our so-called time zone, or like Hitchcock said, Twilight Zone. Where is he living now? You don't know, but he's still alive. So his age is the most longest of all. But mashallah, Allah Ta'ala punya power, Nabi Isa, when he emerged, he will look like he's 33. Whereas he is 2000 more. So we should maybe ask him what kind of cream he wears. That is the mu'jizat of Nabi Isa alayhi salatu wassalam. And he's not yet married. So maybe inshallah, maybe one of your daughters, inshallah. Wallahu ta'ala. If he emerges and I'm still among you, then I will be the one who will debate with him on behalf of every Muslim. Nabi will debate him. And if he comes after my passing, then all of you, all of us, are responsible for debating with him. So you have to have knowledge. What knowledge? Ilmu fardu ain, that is solid, to debate with Ad Dajjal. And Allah is your helper. Hadith riwayat Al-Imam Ibn Majah. The fitna of Dajjal of this test will shake a person's iman. Our iman will be shaken with Dajjal's debate. He lived long enough. He lived long enough to know any deceptions. He has this knowledge, He's very clever, but clever in deception. Let there not be any Muslim among us who say, I am fine, I can fight Dajjal. No, don't say that. We can't. No one should dare to say that, because very few people can defend their iman when faced with Ad Dajjal himself. Don't have that ambition also want to see Dajjal. I know what is one of your planning, Oh no, I plan to see Dajjal. I want to see his face, handsome or not. No need. You should have that intention to see people with iman, to sit in the majlis of salihin, not vice versa. Because of that, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has taught us a dua to seek refuge with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the subtle deception of Ad Dajjal, la'natullah alayhi. It is so great, the tribulation, that Rasulullah taught us to recite this dua. Practice it. Because Rasulullah also read this dua every time. Where Rasulullah no need. Because Rasulullah is Rasulullah. The beloved of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he doesn't need this, but he's teaching us. If I read, why should not you? Why you should not? You should. At least if Rasulullah read one time, we have to read 3 times. Because Rasulullah, when he has a big hajat, he will recite the dua 3 times. Repeat the dua 3 times. So that should be our practice. Rasulullah taught this dua to be recited after the final tahiyyat recitation, before giving salam in every salat. Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min azabi jahannam wa min azabil qabri wa min fitnatil mahya wal mamati wa min sharri fitnatil masih dajjal. This is dua. Try to hafal, try to memorize the dua. And then after you memorize, read with someone that is good in reciting Quran. Let him or her listen. Then you can practice it inside your salat. The meaning is, Allahumma ya Allah, inni a'udhu bika min azabi jahannam. I seek refuge with you from the torment of the fire of Jahannam. Wa min azabil qabri, and from the torment of the qubur. Wa min fitnatil mahya wal mamat, and from the trials of life and death. Wa min sharri fitnatil masih dajjal, and I also seek refuge with you from the evil, shar. In this dua, Nabi SAW said, the evil tribulation, the evil test of Al-Masih Dajjal. This dua taught by Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam is a reminder to his ummah that they must be careful if they meet Ad Dajjal. Hopefully not. That they understand the magnitude of the fitna of Ad Dajjal. That it is necessary for everyone, for his ummah, to always seek protection from Allah. Pada at every salat. I forgot to translate this one. At every salat. So we must never forget the danger so that we are saved from it. Because according to Imam al-Barzanji, rahimahumullah, in his kitab Al-Isha'ah, that one of the signs of the nearness of the emergence of Dajjal is when the Muslim Ummah has failed to remember this danger. Every Muslim doesn't care. Dajjal coming, you know. Ya ke? Biarkah? Really? Okay lah. Nothing big, you know. Oh no, I see already the series in Netflix. So accordingly that I was told. I haven't seen the series yet. I don't have a Netflix also. But I heard there is a series about Ad Dajjal. So the signs of the nearness of emergence of Dajjal when Muslim Ummah has failed to remember this danger. So we need an alim to always remind us, so that we are aware. So who are the society that supports Ad Dajjal? Society means a group in a community. A community is a bigger group of people. A society is a group in that community. Among the tribulations brought by Ad Dajjal, la'natullah alayhi, is that being with him is like heaven and hell. He, Ad Dajjal, will claim himself as God. Jib. Oh. Kau penyam-penyam besar kau boleh kata kau Tuhan. Who are you so big to claim that you are God? Ad Dajjal said, yes, I am God. That's why when we understand, there are also other narration that he, Ad Dajjal, will claim first to be a just leader. He don't immediately say that I'm a God. No. The narration of other hadith, Nabi said that Dajjal will say, I'm a just leader. I'm a good leader. And people will believe. And you can see now, the whole world wants a just leader. A lot of problems. Financial problems. Social problems. Women problems. Children's problem. Now, where are the leaders? All leaders tak boleh pakai, they said. All leaders are not can change. Cannot. So a just leader. So Dajjal will claim to be a just leader. Then when everybody say that he is a just leader with inverted commas, then he will say that he is a prophet. He will claim that he is a prophet. When everybody says that, oh yeah, you know, MashaAllah. He don't say MashaAllah lah. So, wow, financially, all economically very good. Nah? Third world will become first world really. Singapore become first world. Everybody are having good money, but from where that money comes from how that money comes from. Oh, this leader, you know, very good. Just leader. Then he said that I'm a prophet. I believe lah. I believe he's a prophet because he's helping me. He solved all my problems. And then after that, he claimed himself as a god. La'natullah alayhi. Ad Dajjal can cause the clouds to rain on the areas of those who support him and prevent the clouds from raining on areas of those who do not want to follow his teachings. Well, he has that power or that knowledge. Ajib. Scientifically ke ataupun pun he use magic, wallahu ta'ala alam. So those who support him will be in prosperity, inverted commas, and happiness, inverted commas. Yeah, I do this inverted commas to show you, know. So this you seems to be happy, seems to be prosperity. but all by haram choices. Right? Whereas those who oppose him will live in suffering. With inverted commas. Really? No. Those who are in prosperity and happiness, they will see the faithful, the mu'minins, as although they are living in suffering. But actually they are not. Because Allah Ta'ala promised, those who has iman, la khawfun alayhim wa la hum yahzanun. They have no worries and they have no sadness. They will be happy. There will be no khawf, worried. But others with those who no iman, they see that kesian betul orang Islam ni. And sometimes you can experience this now. We think that people who have wealth, mashallah, hopefully all of us have good wealth, inshallah. But that idea of, those who have money, they will be happy. But really, money can buy you happiness? Yalah, yeah, but money can help to give happiness. But sometimes you see poor people, they are happy also. In fact, you see them sometimes are more happy than those who have wealth. In general, I'm talking in general. So, no, a person with faith, Allah Ta'ala promised, La khawfun alayhim wa la hum yahzanun. But people will see those who are opposing Dajjal, they are in what? In suffering. In fact, what he says is heaven is hell. On the other hand, what he says is hell is actually heaven. Apa ni Ustaz? Because what Dajjal promised heaven is actually hell. And what Dajjal promised, this is heaven for you, is actually what is hell for you, it is heaven. That is the deception. This means that Ad Dajjal has been able to change people's views so that obedience to Allah is considered stupidity, while sinning is regarded as a sign of clever thinking. That is a big problem now. You do when someone goes to masjid, you ni asyik pergi masjid aja. Contohnya lah. Ayo, so square lah you. So square. Come on, be sometimes, freedom. Go, you are young, go and drink beer sikit, Be happy, be fun. You know that in old English, fun means the activity of fools. If you look at the old Oxford, not the new Oxford, the old dictionary Oxford, fun means the activity of fools. That's why the olden days in English courts, they have this jester, like the jokers. And these people are deemed to be, they say, no, they are stupid people because they always like to laugh. Fun. No, be moderate lah. Be moderate. So, when we want to compare the misguided teachings of Ad Dajjal with the reality of the mindset of our society today, we will see that Dajjalic thinking has been long adopted into the mentality of our community, so society. Even more troubling is that this kind of thinking is becoming more and more influential. This is what the ulama, who are inheritors of the prophets, refer to as the society or community that welcomes the coming of a Dajjal. It means that our current society has gradually been moving and striving towards Dajjalic thinking, such that when a Dajjal appears, he would be readily accepted, his arrival will be eagerly awaited, and a Dajjal would be considered the hero who will save society or community. In this matter, an example of the mindset of our community, specifically the majority of whom are Muslims, is their view of religious knowledge that the ulama prophetic inheritors refer to as ilmu fardu ayn, This is the knowledge that every mukallaf who is of sound mind, has reached puberty, and meets other conditions must learn. The greatest of that knowledge is the prayer, salat. A Muslim is obligated to know the conditions, sharat, and principle, the rukun, salat, because a person's salat is not considered valid if he does not know these things, condition and principles. Because this is an example of how nowadays we see in us also, do we know the conditions and also the principles, the sharat, and also the rukun of salat. The reality of our societies, teenagers or adults, clearly shows that many have not properly learned the conditions and principles of salat, even at the minimum level, to consider a salat valid. They have yet to recite Surah Al-Fatiha well, but know much about other subjects. Sometimes they don't know, like what are the conditions, the sharat of salat, asharatul shurut. What are the conditions of salat? Qiblah, awrat, covered. You know the timing has arrived. But sometimes people don't know this. And what are the rukuns, the principle of salat, when you perform salat? There are 13s that you must know. So if one considered the rukun or the principle as sunnah, then your salat is actually not valid. It's invalid in fact terms. An example, what is the hukum of reciting surah other than Surah Al-Fatiha? Once answered, oh, it is sunnah now, Ustaz. Correct. What is the rukun? What is the hukum of reciting Surah Al-Fatiha? Oh, it's sunnah now, Ustaz. Sunnah. Although he or she recite the Quran, Surah Al-Fatiha, but he said that this is sunnah, then the prayer, the salat, is invalid. So this is about ilmu fardu ain, the basic, the foundation of knowledge. One must have known the difference. Maybe one excelled in maths, is good in science, has satisfactory life skills, and so on. At the same time, parents do not feel a sense of responsibility towards their children. They are only anxious if they see their children not passing maths, science, and the like, but they do not feel worried if their children cannot read Al-Quran. Their children cannot read Quran, worried, or sometimes not worried. But now the parent also don't know how to read Quran. How? Or cannot salat properly. This is so even though Rasulullah SAW has informed us that the salat determines the standing or collapse of a person's religion. As-salatu imanuddin. Salat is the pillar of religion. So many in our community do not know the conditions and principles of salat, and many do not salat. It seems that the situation is getting worse by the day until it reaches its peak when Ad Dajjal appears, and the people will welcome his arrival without realizing that he is Ad Dajjal, the deceiver. Now you see, I'm reading quite fast because sekali I see, it's nearly 10 o'clock. But okay, just be patient with me. Let me finish this. Sayyidina Huzaifah bin Asid radiyallahu ta'ala anhu once said, Inna Dajjal law kharaja fi zamanikum laramathu sibyanu bil khazaf walakinnahu yakhruju fi naqsin minan nas wa khiffatin minad din wa su'i dhati bainin. A Sahabi said, indeed, if Ad-Dajjal appears in your time, that is in the Tabi'in, the students of the Dajjal, student of Dajjal, student of Sahabah, surely the children will throw stones at him. If Dajjal comes at that time, children, budak-budak, will throw stones at him. But he, Ad-Dajjal, will appear when the number of Muslims who are strong in their deen will be a few. He will come out at that time. And religious knowledge is taken lightly. Tak belajar pun tak apa. Nanti nak kahwin baru belajar rukun nikah. Want to get married, then you study ilmu munakahat. But if not, don't need to study also can. Not important Islam, not important Islamic knowledge. And people then will live without caring about each other. Dajjal will come out when you see that people will not care about each other. How so if you are in a family? Husband doesn't care about wife, wife doesn't care about husband, parents don't care about their children. Na'udzubillah. This is what most of we can see. Hopefully we don't see in our family. If there is, let us change. Let us be the medium of change in our family and inshallah our own family in the future. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us, our families and our descendants from Ad Dajjal. His physical features. Ad Dajjal is a man from the Jewish nation. I'm not saying this because of being racist. Bukan, huh? No, Ustaz don't like Jewish lah. Ustaz very racist. I'm not. My wife is an Indian. See my children just now. You see my daughters just now. You see my son. All got Indian features. No Japanese features. But it is a fact. Ad Dajjal is a man from the Jewish nation, Bani Israel. He's not a jinn. He's not any other creature. He's not an alien. He is a man, human being whose death is postponed. No, his life is extended. Umur dia panjang. Like the case of Nabi Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, who was lifted up by Allah to the heavens, and his life was extended until he descends again on this earth. Then he will die. Nabi Isa will die and will be buried in Al-Madinatul Munawwarah next to Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And there is a narration, it's a hadith. That's why you see in Maqam Nabi there's another room that is vacant, that is not for us but for Nabi Isa alayhi salatu wassalam. Iblis la'natullahi alayhi, death is also delayed until the day of Qiyamah. Iblis punya age is more longer than anybody else. So Ad Dajjal is a person who appears to be young, also like Nabi Isa. Ad Dajjal is a person who appears to be young, large. I don't know, large bodybuilding style, I don't know. Large and somewhat ruddy. That's word, ruddy. That is kemerah-merahan, very red. White red like that. His hair is curly. Anybody curly here? His hair is curly and thick and looks like a large tree, like a large tree branch from behind. These are taken from a hadith. And the most obvious signs are two. Number one, his blind right eye looks like a shriveled raisin. His left eye. His right eye. While his left eye is protruding, greenish, and twinkling like a star. So both his eyes are deformed. That is after when he proclaimed he's a god. There's also a narration that when he proclaims he's a god, dia punya mata become like that. Before that, very nice, maybe handsome, Allah Ta'ala. Number two, on his forehead, Nabi said, is written kafara. It means disbeliever. This writing can only be seen by a mu'min. The hadith say mu'min, not Muslim. Only a mu'min can see the kafara, whether they can read or not. According to the hadith narrated by Imam At-Tabarani, these two signs only appeared in Ad Dajjal after he claimed to be God. God with inverted commas. Before that, these two signs were not present in him. Okay, we come to the last lap. According to a Sahih narration in a Sahih Muslim, Ad Dajjal, la'natullahi alayh, has been alive for some time. There is an opinion that says As-Samiri in the story of Nabi Musa and Nabi Harun alayhimus salatu wassalam in Al-Quran is Ad Dajjal himself. And this is strengthened by some proofs in certain Quranic verses and ancient texts. Allah wa rasuluhu wa ahlul ilmi a'lam. At first I want to expand this, but then I think again that this will take another 1 month to finish. So never mind, next time inshallah. The hadith from Sayyidatina Fatima bint Qais radiyallahu ta'ala anha goes, and I'm not reading the matan because it's very long, not because I don't want to read it, I want to read it, but the time is short now. The meaning of the hadith, this is hadith by Imam Muslim, Sahih, okay? By Sayyidatina Fatima, not Sayyidatina Fatima bint Rasul, but Sayyidatina Fatima binti Qais, an Ansari, a woman from Medina. She said, after my iddah was complete, I heard someone calling out. It was Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam qala, who said, as-salatu jami'ah, let's salat in jama'ah. Rasulullah qala only two, Sayyidina Bilal or Sayyidina Abdullah bin Ummi Maktum, the blinded Sahabi, but also Bilal, but also Muazzin of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Sayyidatuna Fatima binti Qais said, I left and headed towards the Masjid Nabawi, and prayed with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I was in the women's saf, right behind the men's saf. After Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam finished his salat, he sat at the mimbar, and Nabi laughed. Nabi laughed, not like no, Nabi just smiled. That is Nabi's. If you see in the hadith, Nabi's laugh mean Nabi smile, or to the extent can see Nabi's Prophet's what is gusi? Gum. Yes, gum. That is the most extreme laugh of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Subhanallah. We all one day can see Nabi's laugh, inshallah. I mean, in the dreams lah, in dreams you can see Rasulullah smile, Rasulullah laughed. Very beautiful. Where is it? Cakap pasal Rasulullah laugh, is that? Yes, okay. He sat at the mimbar and laughed and said, everyone should remain at the place of salat. Don't go, sit. Nabi said, everybody must remain in his place of salat. And he continued, do you know why I've gathered you? The Sahaba responded, Allah and his Rasul knows best. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam continued, verily by Allah, I did not gather you for something that is joyful or terrifying. So meaning that, don't be too happy and don't be too sad. Stay calm. La khawfun alayhim wa lahum yahzanun. Allah is mawjood. Any challenges, don't be afraid. Allah mawjood. Allah is there to help us. But I'm gathering all of you here because of Tamim Ad-Dari. Sayyidina Tamim Ad-Dari is a Christian, became a Muslim, and some narration he is also a priest. Sayyidina Tamim Ad-Dari, a priest. He was a Christian who came to take bay'ah, became a Muslim, entered Islam. He then told me of an incident aligned with what I told you about Al-Masih Ad-Dajjal. Tamim Ad-Dari told me that what I've been saying to you about Dajjal, it is coincide, it is proven. He said, he boarded a ship. Ni Nabi tengah cerita ni lah. Nabi is telling us the event. He said he boarded a ship with 30 people from the Qabila of Lakhm and Juzam. This is the Qabila from Sham. The waves washed them to the middle of the sea for a month until they were stranded on an island after the sun had set. They took a smaller boats a small dinghy that is usually brought together in a large ship for the crew's needs to take or buy something from an island close to the ship. Afterwards, they entered the island and found an animal with a very thick and stiff hair. Because of the thick fur, they couldn't tell which is the qubul and which is the dubur. What is that? The qubul is the front genitalia. The qubul is the where you desecrate or you do the business, that one. So Nabi saying that this being is full of hair on top until below. I always have this vision of Bigfoot, but of course I'm wrong. But this is a real being. And Nabi said that because of the thick fur, they couldn't tell which is the kubur and which is the dubur. Now they ask by Tamim Ad-Dari, woe to you, because you never see this kind of being, you sure you are very afraid. Huh? Woe to you, wail, what are you? So this animal can speak, and he replied, I am Al-Jasasa. In Arabic. Ajib, he learned Arabic. Either he's an Arab or someone who learns Arabic. Ana Al-Jasasa. So Al-Jasasa is not a name, it's a title. Comes from the word jasus. Jasus in Arabic means spy. James Bond? I am Al-Jasasa. They said, what is Al-Jasasa? He said, oh people, he don't answer. Al-Jasasa doesn't answer Sayyidina Tamim Ad-Dari's question. He said, oh people, go all of you to the man who is in Ad Dajjal. Ad Dajjal. Ad Dajjal is a house of worship for Christian monks, monastery. So maybe this island is an island where there are once Nasaraniyun. There are Christians staying there. But when Tamim Ad-Dari came, nobody is there. Only Al-Jasasa and that person inside the Ad Dajjal monastery. He really misses your news. Tamim said, when he mentioned the man to us, we were worried if the beast was actually shaitan. Tamim said, so we moved towards him quickly until we entered the place of worship. It turned out that in it was the biggest person and the strongest bond we had ever seen. Both of his hands were tied to his neck, like this, and his knees and ankle were tied with metal. We say, woe to you. Orang Melayu kata celaka kau. Woe to you. What are you? See, what are you? Not who are you. Ma anta. What are you? He replied, the man was shackled. He replied, you now know about me. So tell me who you are. They replied, we are Arabs. We boarded the ship and the sea turned out to be unusually rough. So we were hit by the waves of a whole month until we were stranded on your island. We boarded a small boat, entered this island and met an animal with very thick and stiff hair. It is unknown which is the kubul and which is the dubur because of the thick hair. We then asked, woe to you, what are you? It answered, I am Al-Jasasa. We answered again, what is Al-Jasasa? It then responded, go to the house of worship, for he misses our news. So we rushed towards you. As we were afraid of that beast, we were worried that it might be shaitan. No, Sayyidina Tamim is relating all this, but this person don't care. Yada, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay. So this man said, give me the news about the date palm trees in Baisan. Give me news about the date palm trees in Baisan. Baisan now is called Beit She'en. Beit She'en. They Jewish it because when the Zionists, they took control, they occupied Palestine, they changed Baisan to, of course, to their language lah. Beit She'en. We said, what about it? And do you want news on? What about it? Do you want news on? I'm asking you about the date palm trees. Does it still bear fruit? The date palm trees, kurma, pokok kurma, dates plantation. He asked. We answered yes, because these are people of Sham. Sayyidina Tamim Ad-Dari are people of Sham. He said, indeed, it was almost not going to bear fruit. Later, no fruit. No date trees. No dates, fruits. And in 1948, on early May, the Zionist forces, backed by the Western powers, in when? 1948, now 2023, expelled by force the Palestinian settlers from their homes, that is Baitu Sha'an. Since then, they changed the date plantation to cotton. And you can check this also at YouTube, is there. There's no more date palm trees plantation. Now it is cotton. Cotton. Making clothes. So this is what the man is saying. And indeed, it was almost not going to bear fruit. Tell me about Lake Tabariya. What is Lake Tabariya? In English, it's called Lake Tiberias. In Jewish, they call it Kinneret. Among the Nasraniyun, the Christians, they call it Sea of Galilee. This is where they believe, and this is also a part of Palestinian area occupied by the Zionists, between Lebanon and Syria and Palestine. We replied, what about it that do you want news on? The man asked, does it still have water? We replied, the lake is full of water, Lake Tiberias. He said, indeed, the water was almost going to disappear. Now, this in 1964. At that time, Lake Tiberias is under the Syrian government, Syrian forces. In 1964, the Syrian government made a water channel that moved towards Lake Tiberias, and they made this water channel to cut the water flow to Tiberias from the Zionists, Israel. Okay. In 1967 happens the 6-Day War. And we are not yet born yet. 1967, the 6-Day War, the Zionist Israel, they grabbed and occupied the Golan Heights. And this is where the Syrian has failed. And in 2010, 10 years back, the Zionist government declared that Tiberias waters is decreasing to the stage of no return. Meaning that the Lake Tiberias cannot, even if it rain fully, it cannot go up to the normal level. So there is water, but decreasing. So this man said that indeed the water was almost going to disappear. Tell me about the spring of Zohar. Now Zohar is in Jordan now. It is in Jordan. It is a spring, a well, which is near to the cave of Nabi Lut, alayhi salatu wassalam. Right? The water is still present, but nobody is using it anymore. Especially for irrigation, for plantation, no more. But the water is still there. So this man asked, tell me about the spring of Zuhar. We have replied, what about it? What about it do you want news on? Does the spring still have water? And are the people still farming with the water? He said, we said, yes, the spring is still flowing and the people farm with it. Now, no. No, they don't use it anymore because that place is so far from city. So far from the city and nobody is staying there. He asked again, tell me about the Ummiyin Nabi. What did he do? We replied, he has emerged from Mecca and is staying in Yathrib, al-Madinah. He asked, did the Arabs fight him? We answered, yes. He said again, what did he do to the Arabs? So we said he had won over the Arabs around him and they obeyed him. He asked, that has happened? We said, yes. He said, indeed, it is good for them to obey him. It's good for them to obey him. And I will tell you about myself. Indeed, I am Al-Masih. He doesn't say he's a Dajjal. He says he's Al-Masih. Meaning that he's telling them, I'm Al-Masih, the Nabi Isa. Al-Masih, because Nabi Isa is also the anointed one. Al-Masih. Al-Masih Isa. Al-Masih. I'm the Al-Masih. And it is almost time for me to be given permission to emerge when I will walk on the earth. I will not leave a single land, meaning that he will come to Singapore. He will come to Singapore. Is he here? Is he here now? Wallahu ta'ala alam. I will not leave a single land except that I would descend on it for 40 nights. Some ulama say that everywhere he goes, people want to know, who is he? Where does he come from? So he will tell them, I don't know where does that come from. I would descend in for 40 nights except Mecca and Taibah. These two places. Baitul Maqdis, yes, he will come. Only two places. Mecca and Medina. Taibah. Both of which are forbidden to me. Every time I am about to enter one of them, the angel blocks me with a drawn sword in his hand, blocking me from it. And verily, at every gap between the two cities, angels are guarding it. Do you know that there is a palace for Dajjal in Medina? There is. And it's on, and Nabi said, and the place that Dajjal will enter to Medina, not inside Medina, that's the border, is at Juruf. This is hadith. At Juruf, a place called Juruf. And Dajjal will go on the top of the mountain, Juruf, and he will indicate with his index finger, and he said, there is the house of Muhammad. Where is it? That is your homework. Next week we come. Oh, next week tak ada We finish this. Sayyidah Fatimah said, then Rasulullah said, by stabbing on his staff in the pulpit, mimbar, while saying, this is the Tayyibah, this is the Tayyibah, this is the Tayyibah, Tayyibah meaning Al-Madinah. Have I told you about this? The people replied, yes. Nabi SAW said, indeed, the story of Tamim amazes me as it corresponds to what I told you about him at Dajjal, as well about Mecca and Medina. Know that he is in the Sea of Sham or Yemen. No, he is from the east. No, he is from the east. No, he is from the east. 3 times. Nabi repeat, and the Prophet gestured with his hands towards the east. Not the far east. Of the east of Medina. Sayyidah Fatima said, I memorized this from Rasulullah sallallahu. Now, closing. Okay, can Ustaz, faster. Ways to be safe from the fitna at Dajjal. Rasulullah said, and the ulama for with the inheritors radiallahu ta'ala anhum have bequeathed and advised us some ways that must be followed so that we can be safe from the fitna of Dajjal. which are, number one, know Allah truly with the safe doctrine, which is only one, Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. Ad Dajjal will finally claim himself as God. Only those who truly know Allah will not fall for his subtle deception. The first step is we must know the 20 attributes of Allah. 20 sifat. That is, the ulama always have made it as a nazam. Allah wujud qidam baqa mukhalafatuhu lil hawadithi qiyamuhu until akhir. I cannot finish this because it will take more time. Number two, know Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam truly with the safe doctrine which is only one, that is Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah. Know him until you love him. Ad Dajjal will claim to be a prophet first before he will claim to be God. Only those who truly know Rasulullah will not fall for his subtle deception. How do we know Rasulullah? Learn the seerah. Learn the Shama'il Nabawiyah. Learn the Dalailun Nubuwah. Learn the Kitab Al-Shifa bi Ta'rif Huquq al-Mustafa. Well, so many outside. Yes. That is how the ulama have, the scholars has make it for us to really know Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Number three, increase the recitation of salawat and salam upon the Prophet, because it is the key to opening all requests and the needs from Allah, and the cause of the speed of answered, mustajab, and accepted makbul dua. Rasulullah said to a sahabi who wanted to make all his dua and awrad, only salawat on him. And Nabi said, إِذَا يَكْفِيكَ اللَّهُ تَبَارَكَ وَتَعَالَى مَا هَمَّكَ مِن دُنْيَاكَ وَآخِرَتِكَ. If that is the case, then Allah, the Most Holy and Most High, will suffice you all your provisions, needs from your worldly affairs and your afterlife. Everything you need, just by reciting the salawat, increasingly, Al-Imam Sakhawi said, the minimum is 300 salawat every day. Al-Imam Sakhawi said. Number four, regularly be in the company of ulama, the prophetic inheritors, not the ulama su, prophetic inheritors, the righteous salihin, and sit in their gatherings, like gatherings of ilm or dhikr. Number five, strengthen your religious literacy in fardu ain by studying at the feet of the ulama prophetic inheritors. Aqidah, fiqh, tasawwuf, akhlaq, adab, purification of the heart, align with the secure doctrine, Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah. And number six, make the first 10 verses and last 10 verses of Surah Al-Kahf part of your litany, your awrad, as mentioned in the hadith of Rasulullah, Man hafidha 10 ayatin min awwali surah Al-Kahf usima min ad-Dajjal wa fi riwayatin min akhil Kahf. Whoever memorizes 10 verses from the beginning of Surah Al-Kahfi will be protected from Ad Dajjal. In another narration, the last 10 from Al-Kahfi. May we all be spared from humiliation on the day of Qiyamah. ربنا فاغفر لنا ذنوبنا وكفر عنا سيئاتنا وتوفنا مع الأبرار ربنا وآتنا ما وعدتنا على رسلك ولا تخزنا يوم القيامة إنك لا تخلف الميعاد والله تعالى أعلم. Allah and His Rasul and the Ahlul Ilm know best. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Alhamdulillah, we do have khatam the notes. What is it? What is time? 10:05. Right. I give the floor to the MC.
ربنا تقبل دعانا انك انت السميع العليم وعلينا في القران انك انت التواب الرحيم. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى اله وصحبه اجمعين. سبحان ربك رب العزه عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد ان لا اله الا انت نستغفرك ونتوب اليك. السلام عليكم ورحمه الله وبركاته.